Boys and girls, I'm going to read a book that's called Animal Characteristics. Here we go. Animal Characteristics. Oh, look at this book has a table of contents. We know where we can find all the different things and on what pages we can look. Animal characteristics. Animals are living things. Animals eat, move, and grow. There are many different types of animals. Some have fur and some have feathers. Some animals live on land and others live in water. Oh, it says this seal lives in water. A characteristic is something that makes one animal different from another. For example, a bird has feathers and wings. These are characteristics of a bird. Furs or feathers. Some animals have fur or hair on their bodies. Lions have fur. Having fur is a characteristic of a mammal. A lion is a mammal. Mammals are a group of animals that share certain characteristics. Mammals also feed their young with milk. Mammals are warm-blooded. This means they can make heat in their bodies. Mammals live all over the world, even in very cold, icy places. Polar bears are mammals that live in cold places. This Q is for a question. Why do polar bears have thick fur? Let's look for the answer. Oh, A right there is for answer. Polar bears have thick fur to keep them warm, probably because they live in a cold place. Some mammals, such as apes, have less hair on their bodies. Apes usually live in warm places. This orangutan is a mammal. Some animals have feathers on their bodies. Ducks have feathers. Having feathers is a characteristic of a bird. A duck is a bird. Question: why do some birds have long wing feathers? Here's the clue. What can birds do that many other animals cannot? You're right, fly. Answer: wing feathers help birds to fly. Most birds can fly. Birds also have shorter, softer feathers to keep their bodies warm. Feathers can also be used to hide or to show off to other birds. Birds are also warm-blooded. Penguins are birds that live in cold places. A penguin has thick feathers to help it keep warm. Penguins cannot fly, but they use their wings to swim very fast. Skin or scales. Many animals do not have fur or feathers on their bodies. Snakes and lizards are animals that have dry, scaly skin. Snakes and lizards are reptiles. Dry, scaly skin is a characteristic of a reptile. Scale. Fish are covered with tiny, flat plates called scales. Why is this lizard lying in the sun? That's a cue for question. Clue. What does sunshine feel like on your skin? Why do you think they like to lie in the sun? Let's see. Answer. The lizard needs to warm its body in the sun so it can move. Some animals are cold-blooded. This means their bodies cannot make heat. Their bodies are as cold or hot as the air or water around them. Cold-blooded animals usually live in warm places. Fish are cold-blooded too. Fish scales protect their bodies. The scales are usually smooth and flat, so the fish can move faster in the water. Living on land and in water. Animals live on land and in water. Most mammals, birds, and reptiles live on land. All these animals have lungs to breathe oxygen from the air. Fish live in water. Fish have gills to take oxygen from the water. This dolphin is a mammal that lives in water. Question: how do dolphins breathe oxygen from the air? Do they have gills? I don't think so. Let's see. Answer: dolphins swim to the surface to breathe air. A dolphin takes air into its lungs through a blowhole. That says blowhole, that's a label. The blowhole is on the top of its head. The dolphin pushes air out of its blowhole too. So it takes air in through its blowhole and it pushes air out. Animals called amphibians can live on land and in water. Frogs, toads, and newts are amphibians. Amphibians lay eggs in water. Their young have gills. The adults have lungs. Oh, so their babies are not born with lungs. Their babies have gills. Eggs and babies. Wait, now, did I have that right? Yep. Eggs and babies. Some animals lay eggs. Birds lay eggs with hard shells. Baby birds grow inside the eggs, just like baby chicks. The babies break out of the shell when they are big enough. The fish lay hundreds of soft eggs in the water. Each tiny egg changes and grows into a baby fish. There's the cycle of a fish: egg. Then it turns into something that almost looks like a tadpole. Then it goes into a fry. That must be a teenager. And then it turns into a fish, and the fish lays eggs. Even fish have life cycles. Do all animals lay eggs? It's a question. Here are clues. Do lions lay eggs? No. Does a baby elephant hatch from an egg? No. No. Some animals, give birth to live young. Most mammals give birth to their babies. Most mammals make milk in their bodies to feed their young. A kangaroo is a mammal that keeps its young in a pouch in its body. When the baby is first born, it is tiny. It stays in the pouch until it's big enough to move and find food on its own. See the mommy's pouch there? That's where she keeps her baby. Kangaroo. That's called a joey. I know that. Other animal groups. There are many other animal groups. One of the biggest groups is insects. Insects have 6 legs, and most can fly. Bees, butterflies, beetles, and flies are all insects. Spiders, snails, crabs, worms, and jellyfish all belong to different animal groups. Each group has different characteristics. This animal is a jellyfish. There are many different animal groups. Animals are put into groups because of the characteristics they share. These are some of the animal groups. Mammals, warm-blooded, have fur or hair on their body, breathe using lungs, give birth to live young, feed their young with milk. Birds are warm-blooded, breathe using lungs, have feathers, lay eggs with hard shells, have wings. Fish are cold-blooded, breathe using gills, have wet scales, lay eggs in water. Now, there are exceptions to this because a dolphin is a mammal, remember? Has live birth for a baby, and it also has lungs. So there are exceptions. Amphibians are cold-blooded. They have soft fur, no fur or scales. Oh, they have soft skin. No fur or scales, They lay eggs in water, and they live on land and in water. Reptiles are cold-blooded, breathe using lungs, have dry, scaly skin. They lay eggs with soft, strong shells. Oh, here's a checklist. Animals are living things. A characteristic is something that makes one animal different from another. Characteristics help animals too. Breathe, eat, move, and grow. There's another glossary. Look at all the words that it has in it. Amphibian, animal that can live on land or water. Cold-blooded, not able to keep warm. Cold-blooded animals' bodies are as cold as hot as the air or water around them. They need the warmth of the sun to help them move. Gill, part of an animal's body that takes oxygen from the water. Fish have gills. Insect, animals with 6 legs and a body with 3 parts. Ants and beetles are insects. Lung, part of an animal's body that takes oxygen from air. Reptiles use lungs to breathe. Mammal, animal that gives birth to live young and feeds its young with milk. Oxygen, gas found in air and water. Animals need oxygen to breathe. A reptile is a cold-blooded animal that breathes in air. Reptiles usually have scales. Snakes and lizards are reptiles. Scaly, covered with scales. Scales are tiny, flat plates that cover some animals' bodies. Fish and reptiles have scales. Warm-blooded, able to make its own heat. Warm-blooded animals are warm even if the air around them is cold. Boy, we have so much information that we learned today about animal characteristics. Now you may go ahead on to Seesaw and do the activities that go along with this book. See you later.